Section 25 of African Jungle Tales by Carl Bender. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. All for the skin of a lion. "Friend," said the lion one day to the rabbit, "stop and listen what I have to tell you. Should you ever happen to run across the deer anywhere, then let me know, but secretly, mind you." It was the good fortune of the rabbit to meet the deer the very next day. "Listen," whispered the rabbit to the deer, "the lion is after you. Let me advise you to be on your guard." "You don't say," answered the deer. "How good of you to go out of your way to warn me. I sincerely hope to be able to do you a good turn some day." After the rabbit had left the deer, the mountain goat came along, and the deer beckoned him to come near and then said, "Listen, cousin, and don't forget what I tell you. If at any time you should happen to meet the lion who is searching for me so diligently, then greet him in my behalf and tell him that I will never do him the favor of letting him catch me." When the lion heard this from the lips of the goat, his rage knew no bounds. "Who in all the world could have apprised the deer of my intentions?" he roared. "More likely as not, the rabbit played this infamous trick on me. But wait, you rascal. If ever I meet you, it will cost you your skin." After many futile efforts to ensnare and catch the rabbit, the lion one day surprised him while he was sleeping under the ledge of a rock. "Ah, got him at last," thought he. "Just let me get hold of him. I shall rip him to shreds." Just as he was about to act, the rabbit, quick as a flash, shot out between the lion's legs, and before the latter had time to think what had happened, he was gone. Several days later, the rabbit unexpectedly ran up against the lion. He saw at a glance that this time an attempt to escape would be useless. So he mustered up courage, walked up to the lion, and devotedly greeted him as his superior and king. "Where have you come from, you miserable scamp of a tattler?" the lion roared. "May your majesty live forever. I've been told that your majesty is building a new palace, and I thought it to be my duty to come and offer my humble services," meekly answered the rabbit. "Well, well," said the lion, feeling at once pleased and flattered at the words of the rabbit. "That certainly is good of you. Come right along, and we will get to work at once. I'm just putting on the roof. You can climb right up and lay the mats in position. I shall go inside and fasten them to the frame." "Your humble servant, my lord," said the rabbit. "But how can a simple and insignificant creature like me work on the roof? I fear I shall make a bungling job of it. No, my lord, that is work for the great, for men of experience. Let me work inside, I pray you. I can tie the mats to the frame, while you work outside on the roof." "I believe you are right," said the lion, who again felt flattered at the words of the rabbit. Harmoniously they worked together, the lion outside on the roof and the rabbit inside. The mats they tied to the framework of the roof with bush rope in the following manner. The lion would pierce the mats from the top and stick through them one end of the rope. This the rabbit would pull down, twist it around one of the staves of the frame, and then pierce the mats from below. The lion would then pull up the rope, draw it tight, and proceed as before. In this way, all the mats were tied to the frame of the roof. While they were at work, it so happened that the lion's tail hung down through the roof. The lion was so taken up with his work that he never thought of the possibility of being tied to the roof by his tail. But the rabbit thought only the more of it. Here was an opportunity to get square with the lion, and he made use of it. Every time when he twisted the rope to tie a mat, he also twisted it around the lion's tail and pulled it tight. When the lion felt the stinging pain in his tail, he thought that he was being maliciously pricked by the rabbit with the pointed end of the rope, and he called down to the rabbit, "What are you up to, you scoundrel? What do you mean by pricking me?" "Not so, my lord," answered the rabbit from below. "I only picked off a few ticks, which I happened to see on your tail." "How good of you," said the lion. "I should have known." When the rabbit had convinced himself that the lion's tail was securely tied, he said, "Hunger pinches me, my lord, and you have such delicious meat in your cooking pot. May I help myself to a bit?" "All right," answered the lion, "but beware of taking the choicest and best. A lean piece ought to be good enough for you." The rabbit, utterly ignoring the words of the lion, sat down to eat. When the lion, who was watching from the roof, noticed how the rabbit helped himself to the choicest and best pieces, he cried, "Hey, you there! Did I not tell you to take a lean piece?" "I take what I please," retorted the rabbit. This thoroughly aroused the lion, and jumping up, he roared, "You good-for-nothing and scoundrel! Did you hear what I said?" As he spoke, he wanted to jump off the roof, but alas, he was tied to the roof by his tail, unable to move from the spot. Every effort to free himself not only caused him more pain, but also tightened the rope only the more. When the rabbit saw that the lion was tied, he got up and killed him. The skin he took and with it adorned himself. "There," said he, "now all the animals will flee in terror before me." Then he arose and went to the home of the monkeys. The monkeys were just getting ready for a feast, and big pots of beer were steaming over the fire. All of them expected to have a jolly good time. They sat around the fire in a circle and smacked their tongues in anticipation of the treat that awaited them. Suddenly the rabbit, disguised as a lion, appeared in their midst. Fear and consternation took possession of them. What in all the world could the lion want? What object could he have in coming upon them so suddenly? These were the thoughts that troubled their minds. Trembling with fear, the chief of the monkeys arose and said, "We are glad to welcome you in our midst, O lion." "Thank you," said he, and sat down. "How do you fare, O king?" some of the more daring of the monkeys ventured to ask. "Very well," answered, with a condescending gesture, the lion. "May we offer you a ladle or two of our water, O king?" asked the head of the clan, and 2 big pots of beer were placed before him. The chief then filled a ladle with beer, sipped of it, and then offered it to his distinguished guest, who at once dipped the ladle into the pot, filled it to the brim, and drank, with the hearty approval of the assembly. "To your health, King of the Monkeys!" they shouted. With all these honors heaped upon him, the rabbit was more than pleased. It was a new sensation to him to be praised and looked upon as the acknowledged lord over all. Shortly after this, the monkeys arose and said, "It may have caused you to wonder, O king, why we have gathered in this wise and at this time. But the beer which you see, and of which you have tasted, has been brewed for our friends who help us to cultivate our fields. You certainly know that this is just the time of the year for such work." Quite so, said the lion. "But you must not be disturbed on my account. Just go to your fields. On your return, you will certainly find me still here." Thereupon the monkeys picked up their hoes and started, single file, for their farms in the jungle. They had not gone very far when one of their number discovered that they had forgotten the seed corn. "Wait," said one of the men. "I'll hurry back to get it." When he reached the enclosure where they had left the lion, he hurriedly brushed through the door. To his amazement, he saw the skin of a lion spread out on the ground, and a rabbit sitting on top of it. "Aha!" said the monkey, after he had sufficiently recovered from the shock. The lion was but a rabbit in disguise, and he hurried back and told the others what he had seen. Not the lion, but a rabbit sitting on a lion's skin and picking off ticks. "Up, let us catch and punish the rabbit," they all cried, after they had heard the strange news, and in wild haste they hurried back to their kraal. When the rabbit heard the shouting and tramping of feet coming near, he became alarmed. He instinctively felt that trouble was ahead, that something was going to happen if he did not bethink himself in time. So, acting on the spur of the moment, he leaped over the enclosure and fled, leaving the skin of the lion behind. When the monkeys saw that the rabbit had fled, they followed in pursuit, determined to revenge themselves on the mean trickster. The rabbit succeeded in hiding himself in a hollow tree. His pursuers just missed seeing him and hurried by. A diligent search was made in the high grass and among the brambles, but no trace of the rabbit was found. The monkeys got wild. "Where in all the world can he be?" they all cried. "Did the earth swallow him up?" During all this time, the rabbit had felt quite secure in his safe retreat. But then something happened which it was not in his power to prevent. A nasty little fly had crept into his nose and caused him to sneeze. This the monkeys heard and commenced to search anew in the direction whence the sound had come. Closer and closer the monkeys came to the tree where the rabbit was hiding. He could plainly hear them talk and understand what they said. Afraid that after all his pursuers might detect him, The rabbit left his retreat in the hope of reaching the plain, but the monkeys had seen him and rushed on in wild and relentless pursuit. The rabbit had a good start, and the patches of underbrush and Sudan grass decidedly were in his favor and helped to conceal him, for a time at least. Nevertheless, he knew that his capture would be only a matter of time unless he managed somehow to trick them again. A mud puddle, which he chanced to see right ahead of him, served his purpose most admirably. Running straight into it, he rolled himself in the mud several times, and then sat down by the wayside. Presently the monkeys came along. On seeing the rabbit, they took him to be a stranger and cried, "Hey there, you mudwiggle! Did you see a rabbit run by here?" "I saw one run by only a few minutes ago," the rabbit lied. "You certainly must have seen the cloud of dust which he raised." On hearing this, the monkeys hurried on. They kept up the pursuit until sunset. Then they went home, disappointed and tired, and pledging themselves to take bloody revenge on the rabbit at the first chance. The lion's skin, which the rabbit had left behind, the chief of the monkeys took for himself. He donned it every time he went hunting to frighten the animals with. One day, while out in search of big game, he met the tiger, who had just killed a mountain goat, and he commenced to roar in a most frightful manner, so as to create the impression that he really was a lion. When the tiger saw and heard, he fled and left the mountain goat behind. This was just what the chief of the monkeys wanted. He at once called his people together and bade them carry home the game. Soon after, the tiger killed an antelope. He was just getting ready for his meal when again the terrible roar of the lion was heard. Presently the rustling underbrush parted, and there stood the monkey in the disguise of a lion. Again the tiger fled, leaving the antelope to the monkey, who now began to poke fun at the credulity of the tiger. One day it happened that the tiger met some of the monkey's children while they were at play in a field, and he made use of this opportunity and carried one of the little monkeys off. The others ran away, screaming. On reaching his hut in the jungle, the tiger questioned his little prisoner and said, "Tell me, where is the den of the lion that continuously robs me? I had caught a mountain goat, and he robbed me of it. Later on, I caught an antelope. This, too, he took away from me. I am willing to let you go if you reveal to me the hiding place of the lion." Then the little fellow, trembling with fear, said to the tiger, "Be it known unto you, O king, that it is not a lion that troubles you, but the chief of the monkeys, disguised as a lion. But I beg you, my lord, not to betray me. If you tell this thing to my people, they will surely kill me." "I have heard," growled the tiger. "Away with you now." And the little monkey ran off, glad to have saved his life. Not so very long after, the chief of the monkeys again went out hunting, but this time the tiger was hiding in the underbrush and laying in wait for him. "There comes my man," said the tiger, when he heard the roar of the lion. Soon he heard a rustling noise nearby, and he placed himself in position. Unsuspectingly, the chief of the monkeys came up. While he was looking about, seemingly lost in thought, the tiger suddenly swooped down upon him, and in less time than it takes to tell, the tiger held the monkey tight in his clutches. Realizing that resistance was useless, the chief of the monkeys said to the tiger, "My lord, I pray you, grant to me an opportunity to parley with you." "What ransom have you to offer?" the tiger asked. "Come with me, my lord," the chief of the monkeys replied, "and I will show you." Then the monkey led the tiger to a giant tree, the lower branches of which were one dense mass of foliage, while its upper branches were laden with delicious fruit. "My lord, hide yourself in the branches below," said the monkey, "while I climb into the top." "First take off the skin and leave it down here with me," said the tiger. "Of a truth, my lord, I believe you are right," answered the monkey, as he divested himself of the skin. Then Tiger took the skin of the lion, folded it together, and laid it aside. "Now," said the monkey, "when I climb into the top and shake the branches, the fruit will fall down, and the deer and mountain goats who are very fond of it will assemble under the tree. Then is your chance. It will be up to you to make use of it." The prediction of the monkey came true. He shook the branches with all his might, and as the fruit fell to the ground, many deer and mountain goats gathered under the tree to feed. When the tiger saw this, he picked out the fattest goat, leaped down, and laid hold of his prey. Shortly after, the monkey too came down, humbly approached the tiger, and said, "My lord, you hold my ransom in your hands." "I have received it," answered the tiger. Then the monkey mustered up courage and asked the tiger for the return of the lion's skin. "My lord," said he, "could you not make me a present of the skin? I make my living by it. If I put it on and roar, all the animals, except you, are afraid of me. Therefore, let me have the skin, I pray you." "You may take it," growled the tiger. "I have no use for it anyhow, for I live by my own prowess and strength. Take the filthy thing, if you care so much for it." Then the monkey donned the skin again, expressed his gratitude to the tiger, and disappeared in the jungle. Author's note: Zulu. End of section 25. Read by Laura Gibbs.